check if it powers this thing. No, it doesn't. So it's working. All good? Yeah. All right. Awesome. No.
Hello.
Yes, yes. Hello, sir.
Can you hear me, Reggie?
Yeah, I can hear you. I've kept everybody in the waiting room. Okay, great. Just slightly adjust your video, sir. Oh, great.
Makeshift rooms.
By the way, we have a special invitee, beginning with Dad is attending.
Actually, that's really nice.
All right.
Shall I mute it now?
All right. So if you're okay, then I'll just, there are people in the waiting room, sir. So when we're good to go, I think we can start.
Yeah, no, whenever you're ready, no problem. So
Yeah.
we'll wait for some time and then we'll slowly start.
Yeah, just for a couple of minutes. I think the audio video is fine.
Sure. Audio video is fine, right? So I can just mute. I'll just mute sometime when ready. You can just let me know so that we can.
All right, great. We'll do that. Are you able to hear the background music, sir? I've just played some background instrumental. Naina, 1 second. Okay.
Again.
All right. Okay, great. Okay, so we have people joining in. Okay. All right. Okay, so good evening, everyone. Welcome to you all on a fantastic Sunday evening here. And we have with us a very, very special guest, our very own Dr. Raison Thomas, sir, here to talk to us about how exactly do you prepare for entrances. Okay. Now, most of you are expecting maybe like a rapid 30-minute, quick digest on how to crack it. But let me tell you guys, there's way more to entrance preparation than just the beginning, what we're going to be laying down today. All right, so I'll quickly take a minute and spotlight sir. Okay, everybody, you can quickly say hi to sir in the chat box there. Okay, so please show us your love in the chat box, and everybody's happy to see sir back after a long time. Most of the students from CEDEES across the country, and all of them here who've taken time to join in and attend this session for us. Okay, hello sir, can you see us? Okay. All right, so I'll just keep the chat box open here. And we have, I think, a network is stable enough now. Yeah. So, guys, welcome to you all to a special guest webinar series, which is. Yeah. Yes, sir. Yeah, I think now we can see. Yeah, we can see you, sir. I'll just spotlight your video for everybody. Okay. Okay. So am I coming across fine, sir? Are you able to hear me? See me properly?
Andanji, I can hear you. I can hear you. Loud and clear. Yeah.
Okay, fine. So good evening, everybody here. I think we're going to have a lot of students rushing in, and this is somewhat of, the class where, students rush in much before. And we had a lot of students in the waiting room as usual, what we see in the CEDEES classroom. Everybody coming in quickly occupying the seats just so that they get to, attend the class from much closer. Anyways, to enable a lot of students attend this, we've decided to go virtual today. And this happens to be, a session where sir will be throwing light upon the various aspects and a little beyond what exactly, in terms of the entrance preparation. Sir will be sharing some tips on how exactly you need to develop the mindset. Now, for all of you wonderful students attending this, from PhD 101 and from CEDEES and the entire family here, the whole idea of entrance examinations, it remains, like a secret myth, like, there's a secret portion which you need to crack and then eventually, go on and then to, take the seats of your choice and, build a wonderful future for all of you all. So in that direction, it gives me immense pleasure to welcome Dr. Raison, sir, Director of CEDEES. Welcome, sir. Welcome.
Thanks a lot, Denji, and it's nice. It's an honor to be on this platform with all of you with PhD 101. You're doing a fantastic work there, Dr. Denji, and also to be connected with all the youngsters, the young budding dentists who are going to take our dentistry forward. It's really nice to sit and talk for half an hour, and like just share with everybody. I think I'm sure it'll be a wonderful session.
Great. Okay. So first things first, guys. I think if you want to send us any questions, any specific things, please use the chat box, right? And we'll try to make this quick. And we've collected a lot of questions from students already, starting off. And there are many specific queries, and there are many students from different years of BDS. That is, someone who's in the second year, third year, and final year. And something like entrance preparation, you need a foundational basis which has to be established very much early in your BDS. So we'll be talking more about that as well. Again, like we say, here we have with us the man who teaches all the 20 subjects in dentistry. But then, this is something which is out of experience, and CEDEES is something which is the entire family spanning across so many centers in our entire, dental world. We've had so many people, and we've had the fortune of so many of our former students who are attending this, just joined in to see sir and, to learn from sir as well. So with this, let's quickly start off this session. If you go Raison sir, can we start this off, I think? Okay.
Yeah. We can start.
Okay. So let's start with a little bit of trivia, sir. So I think here, 16 years down the line, CEDEES has actually transformed the lives of so many students. But in the end, it is a very strategic approach to preparation. Now, normally students start off their preparation in their internship or maybe after completion of their internship. That's where most of our students do. So, for example, if someone is willing, who's thought about entrances right away when they're in their second year or third year, what would you recommend to begin with? Yeah. So, I mean, apart from the study, so what would you recommend beginning with?
When you're in second year and third year, I think the most important thing for most of us is to just pass, right? I think the most important thing for all of us is to get through the quota and, all the various internal assessments and just wrap everything up and just get through to the next year. I think that's the first thing on our minds. And rightly so, I think all of us have been in the same boat. But one small thing is that, like you guys should enjoy life. You guys should freak out, finish your quota, completion and all that. But whenever you're reading something, it'll really help, like along with whatever you're reading, to just understand a little bit as to what you're reading. See, most of us, what we tend to do is whenever the internals are announced, probably a week before we start our preparation, and not before that. So if you can, when I know it could be a little difficult if you're in your second year, because let's say in your second year you have pharmacology there, you have pathology there, microbiology there. They are huge subjects, and somehow what happens is we tend to take our basic subjects, very lightly, and we tend to read just from the top, just the superficial, just what our seniors have told us is the most important questions, which will be repeated for the exams, and somehow in the exam we use all our imagination to write the answers out. In practicals, I think we'll get through somehow. What happens is somewhere the understanding of the core subject is actually being missed out, just the core understanding. So if you can, especially those who are in second year or third year, what happens is subjects like pharmacology, subjects like your general medicine, general surgery, when you come to an intern, suddenly these subjects look big, simply because we have not really given our efforts in our second year, third year. I'm not saying to change your strategy completely, but it'll be good if you can just understand a little bit as to what you're reading, right? Some students ask me, in fact, we get queries from those who are in second year and third year. So should we study the big books? Should we study the medical Triparty? Should we study, books like Davidson for medicine? Should we study big books like Bailey and Love for general surgery? And I would definitely tell no. See, if your speed of reading is good, if you're used to the reading, then you can. If you're not used to that reading, whatever book you're reading, do justice to that particular book as to what you're reading, whichever book it is. But I'm not talking of mastering dentistry. But any textbook what you're reading, where it could be, let's say, if you're reading Padmaja for pharmacology, if you're reading Harsh Mohan for pathology, for microbiology, reading Baveja, it's more than sufficient. There is a myth that you have to read Anant Narayan for micro, and only then you guys will top and get into the entrance. It's not like that. Even Baveja, what is there in a microbiology book, we don't know half of it. General medicine, even Chug, we don't know even 50% of what is there, and before we go for exams. So at least during your second year and go one step ahead, and I'm sure even the main topics which have been asked for your exams, you can go through it again and again, and I think you guys can really do well. So don't worry, but just keep in mind that one day I have to study it. If not today, tomorrow I have to study it. Right? And I don't think that, okay, when I come to an intern, all of a sudden the medicine, when it's like a chip, it'll get downloaded into my brain or something. That's not going to happen, right? So we have to make our efforts right from now, not huge magnanimous efforts, but just a small effort from your side, whether it is the tough subjects, especially the core medical subjects like patho, micro, pharmac, medicine, surgery. It will become a lot easier, when you come to an intern to complete those subjects. I think that's the essence of what I have to tell you.
Yes. Yes, sir. So I think that was really very candidly spoken, that it's not how much you read, it's how much you pay attention, and more effective reading which is required here. So what happens, sir, is usually in second year and third year, some students are very enthusiastic, they got a target, but they don't view the entrance preparation as a comprehensive evaluation. Like towards the end, we need to take in a little bit of everything and then build upon that. So would you recommend what kind of testing? Like, is it advisable to solve MCQs at the end of it, of each year, and just to test our knowledge? Or would you still recommend a more foundational basis of reading? Read of the more theory or more of MCQs while you're in your second year?
Right. Now, across India, there are certain universities where MCQ is a part of your examination. Right. But if you observe that in most of universities, for example, even in Karnataka and the Rajon University, MCQs are not a part of the curriculum. You have to write, you'll have short answers, you'll have 2-mark answers and all. So MCQs are not a really big part of it. But what you can definitely do is, if you have an MCQ book, and I've seen many students do that right from second and third year, any one basic MCQ book, like let's say Dental Pulse or MCQs a little bit briefly. I'm not saying that you study it in depth or something, but just go through it. So what happens is your fundamentals become very clear. Now let me tell you, even if they ask you a 10-mark question for your exam, you cannot mark up the whole textbook, right? What you have to remember for that 10-mark, to write even a 10-mark question in your exam, are to remember those 10 or 15 bullet points. Even if it's a theory exam. So if you can remember on 10 or 15 important bullet points, you can write the, in your general medicine, let's say on infective endocarditis, so you read up some 5 or 6 points of infective endocarditis. You can write about it for 10 marks for your exams. I'm sure that much imagination we all have. And similarly, if you're doing MCQs, what happens is that MCQs help you to pinpoint the most important points about a particular disease. And it's easier to read, it's easier to recollect it. And it will help you a lot even for your theory exams. So, it'd be good if you can do a little bit of side-by-side reading, a little bit, even if not before exams, even a little bit even after your exams, just go through what you've learned it by heart it. No, go through it. So you get a more exposure to the points you might have probably missed out while studying for your theory. And I'm sure it'll go a long way for you to, if you want to get into, think of the best universities like the All Indian Institute of Medical Science, the PGI, the JIPMA, and a whole lot of things like that. If you want to get one of any of these top universities, it's very, very important that our basics are clear, our fundamentals are clear, right? So concentrate more on doing the theory well. But probably at the end of your exams, even after your exams, you can probably go through this MCQ, see what points you've missed out. Ultimately the same thing is going to be carried on for your exam. So I think that way, I think you can bring about a good balance.
Yes, I think that was very nicely said, when you're talking about strengthening your basics and focusing more on theory, because that eventually leads you to a better application and understanding. So moving on with some more questions, what we've collected so far, sir, is specifically related to the idea of competition. Now, how well are we dealing with competition? Because we really get a feel of competition because until final VDS, we're all competing with a bunch of 70, 80, 100 students. Now, dental entrance examinations are so competitive just because the sheer volume of seats which are at stake. To the very little amount of government seats which are available, which makes the competition all the more fierce. So there are people who are repeating the examination and giving in various attempts and taking this forward. So how does one actually remain sustained and motivated through this whole process? Because I would really say that it's just like the civil services where you're actually focusing and repeatedly until you crack it for the top 300 or 400 to things. So how does one be motivated throughout a year of preparation?
Okay, I think this question is majorly towards interns who are really preparing. So, like how do they maintain their level of enthusiasm throughout the year, right?
Yes, right.
Yeah, what happens is, to all those who are listening, my dear students, first thing is to have a vision, right? First thing is to have a vision. The larger the vision, the more you are ready to work hard. If your vision is very small, if your vision is probably to say, let me just get a seat in one of the in any of the universities, then the amount of effort that you put also will be very less. If your vision is big, if your vision is to get a good government seat, make the government pay for your studies, and you work in a college where you have a lot of patients. Let's say you want to work in GDC Mumbai or GDC Chennai, where the OP is around 1,400, 1,600 patients per day, and you get a good stipend, so it really works out. So in order to get there, you should have a good vision that whichever college you belong to, how much ever you have done, how much ever hard work you have done or hard work you have not done, it really does not matter, provided you use that good 1 year, very well, so that you can get into any of these deemed universities, any of these government colleges. The first thing is to have a vision, small goals, small objectives. You can't make huge goals, small goals. Let us say that in 1 month, I'll be able to complete subjects. That is the usual standard. So give your best and try to complete happy. You should feel, wow, I've completed 2 subjects. That is how we should go on slowly. And if there's any test series which you can join, wherein you get to know a feeling of competition. Oh my God, this exam, my ranking was 1,200. Now let me do well in the next exam so that my ranking will go up better. Let me say I give my best to be among the top 500. And it is not difficult. The biggest myth about entrance exam preparation is that we feel it's a very complicated process. In essence, it is not. In essence, it's exactly, I think, what Dr. Dr. Dempsey was really saying it's about keeping your enthusiasm throughout, doing your work properly and regularly and consistently every day. And you'll suddenly realize that you're really covering a lot. You're really doing a lot. And that's how it is, slowly we have to go on, and it should be a balance between the textbook and the MCQ book. The textbook and the MCQ book. You really, take it hand in hand. Keep yourself motivated. If you have a test series, join one of the test series, which will keep you motivated. With a large platform, if there are more than 2,000, 3,000 people writing, you get to know where you stand. And that is how I think you slowly keep going. And keep moving towards your vision. Keep moving towards your vision. Sometimes you may feel down. When you're doing a subject like pharmacology and biochemistry, suddenly you feel that all your energy is just sucked up. You feel this is not progressing. But don't worry. Have a break and do a clinical subject. You can study a clinical subject. Let's say you want to study something like perio, or you study something like pedo. Then suddenly you feel good about it, and you come back. You go take up. All basic subjects are like bitter medicines. You cannot avoid it for a longer time. You have to take it, So you go on, especially for the NEET. What happens is you have 240 questions. But I think for the next NEET, you will have it for 200 questions. There's a change in the medical. I'm sure there will be change in the dental too. Medical exam, which is on April 18th of this month, they've changed the NEET pattern. They may change the NEET pattern for the dental too, but we'll know it only by September. But I'm sure that they will apply the same thing for dental. So you'll have around 200 questions in 3 years. That's how. So, and all subjects are going to be 80 marks for the basics, 120 marks for the clinicals. So you got to do one basic, two clinicals, one basic, two clinicals. That is usually the way in which you got to go. And keep motivating yourself. Most important is through these test series. Have a balance. If you have an app, solve questions from the app. Give your mind different things to play around. You have an MCQ book, you read it, you get bored with it. Do a little bit from your app. If you have an app for you to prepare, solve MCQs from the picture-based questions are very important for your exams. So if you have an app, or if you have a source from which you can do this combination, keep going through, and it's always great if you can have a steady partner who can, you both can do important. I think Dr. Dempsey will not be there every time, but community, dates and values, and when was UNICEF formed? What about the Millennium Development Goals? How many goals are there? How many are health related? And it's a volatile topics, which is always better if you can read it up with somebody else. So I think that there are a lot of things which we've got to do, but the most important thing is keep moving towards your vision. I think that's the essence. Yeah,
So keeping yourself motivated throughout and having a proper balance of all the subjects, like, so mentioned a balance between the basics and the clinicals and all of that. So that eventually is your roadmap towards achieving, guys. So what is really important is, we get a lot of questions, like, how many hours do I study every day and how many days is it enough? And these are the most common things, is it possible for me to crack the exam in 3 months or 4 months? Suddenly out of nowhere you realize that, okay, you have 3 months going. So what would you really advise such students, like, if you're looking at time-based objectives, is it realistically possible to pack the whole entrance preparation within a stipulated time, or it's more throughout the whole course?
Yeah, I'll answer that. There is a question in one of the chats that I'm an intern and it's a good time to start now. Am I too late? Or how to prepare and all that. Okay. Now, what happens is, my dear students, now it's very simple. Okay, we have 20 subjects, and during our BDS, we have definitely not done these 20 subjects right. But we've not done it exactly. We've not really understood most of it, right? Unfortunately, what they do ask in the entrance exam are not just questions. They ask you a lot of applied questions, And for an applied question, you've got to first understand the basics, and then you got to apply the basics, and that's when you arrive at the answer. So if somebody was saying that, can I do it in 3 months? Even if you're a genius, you can probably just do all these subjects once. And if you do the subjects once, you can probably rely on your, on your intuition and all the knowledge that you've acquired. But what happens is, to top the exams, you require a little extra time. It cannot just happen as a short as a simple crash course in 3 months. Because in 3 months, you just read all the topics once. And if you see the question paper, you will probably be able to, you will see a particular question and say, I've seen this question, but you'll not be able to know the answer. That's the thing. So because unless you've read the topic at least twice or thrice, especially as I was saying, there are, and unfortunately, our needs, whether it is medical or dental, they are very objective based. There are applied questions. There are, let's say, around 70 to 80 or in 200, there will be applied questions, but the remaining 120 are objective questions. For example, I'll give you an example of last AIMS. They had given you the KIMS microsurgical cases. For example, in endo, there is a basic classification for that. And what is class A, class B, class C, class D, class E? It goes to class F. So, unless you've really learned it well, just knowing that will not help you. Now, there is, according to AAE, the American Academy of Endodontics, there is a small classification as to how do you classify if an endodontic case is difficult, if an endodontic case should be referred to an endodontist, can it be done by a general practitioner? There's a small grading for that. They've given points for that. So what happens is, my dear students, there are a lot of these small things, small pockets which you got to capture up. So usually what I would suggest is, even if you are an intern, if you start rhythmically every day, slowly doing this to be with any institutes across the country, and join the crash course so you get to know a good summary of everything. And then I think you will be better off to face the exams. Then only then, we can think about, let's say I can get into a government college, I can get into AIMS, I can get into JIPMER, I can get into PGI Chandigarh. You can dream of something big only if you have done this consistent reading, let's say for a good period of 6 months or so.
So actually, like Sir mentioned here, guys, I mean, if you're looking towards something like I could do it in 3 months or 4 months, like I said, it really just covers up all the syllabus, but doesn't give you an in-depth understanding about that. So we do have a lot of students, asking teachers that is it possible, but then like we say, to be in the top of the topmost, right? To actually able to get a seat and crack and places and land yourself in government colleges where you will, be dreaming and aspiring for such a seat. You need to go way beyond that. So I think most of our students who are, in internship. Coming to the next question, sir, is finding a balance between your college and clinical work and the preparation. So what would you recommend to balance between both of that, between your clinical duties? And because we see most of the students just especially the new interns, carrying the pulse and moving around everywhere. It's not important to carry the book, I mean, for 16 hours a day. I mean, even you got to sit down with it and actually work. So they are reading in portions until they allotted a case or they've given some assigned work in college. So does that kind of intermittent reading through the day help, or would you recommend gated schedules after completion of college, and how would you recommend?
Especially for an intern, golden rule is, even if you can read 1 minute in your college, you read. Even if it's 2 minutes, you can get in college, you read, because that is knowledge gained. You're investing some time. It's really, really important. I'll give you certain examples. Last November, we had from RV Dental College, Bangalore, a girl called Dr. Arunakshi. She was an intern going to the college, okay, and she was a CEDEES Bangalore student who was an intern who was to attend the classes during the weekends. And even though she was an intern, she worked hard, whatever she could, during the college. She tried working hard. Evenings, she sat down in the library along with her friend. I think it was Shrishma. Both of them sat together. They read, they studied. Every day they're consistent of 3 hours, how much ever they can. And whenever there's a holiday, probably read a little more. And what happened? In November, when they wrote the AIMS exam, she got endodontics and AIMS as an intern. Basically, she had got the seat, and then her internship was over in the first week of December. So you can imagine. Jan 1st, she was in college. Similarly, a batchmate who got the 10th rank that year. And the year before that, in the month of November, there was a girl called Abhirami. She was from GDC Chennai. We did not have a center in Chennai at the time. We did not have a satellite center in Chennai. And I'm really, I never seen a girl with so much dedication. She used to travel down from Chennai to Bangalore every weekend. You can believe that? Every Friday night, she used to travel from Chennai, come to Bangalore, attend the classes, and then she used to go back as an intern. And in Chennai, there's so much work as an intern with more than 1,300, 1,400 patients. You can imagine how much of work. And then, despite that, she kept reading, she kept studying. Over the weekend, she was in Bangalore, so was traveling and all that. And yet, what happened? When she wrote number AIMS, she got the 9th rank, the first attempt as an intern. And the need she got the so that is how I would suggest, even if you are an intern, if you can have a consistent reading every day, if you're posted in departments where there's not much work, please take up and please study, whether it's your app or whether it's your BDSM, whether it is your dental pulse, do it well. Evenings, have a regular reading of 3.5 or 4 hours or something like that. Whenever you can study more, please study more. Okay, but the last 3 months, by the time you come to last 3 months, make sure that you have almost touched most of the subjects at least once, so that you can give the best for the last 3 months and you can get your option. So please don't worry. But first thing is, never think that, okay, I'm an intern, can I do it? And things, and I can see a lot of questions like, is it too late? Nothing is late. Okay. Of course, if you want to start doing the last 3 months, then it is late. Right? So yeah, if you have 6 months ahead of you, please don't worry. Please start your preparation.
So, like they say, right? It's never too late to start and build on your preparation. So it's not about cracking the examination. In spite of you being an intern, whoever is watching this, right? You can do it. And realistically within your time frame. All that is required is, like Sir mentioned, is dedicated hours in a day, and if you're able to gain through the day, you're able to function in this direction. All right. So guys, I think quickly, if you could have some more questions before we've piled on and we've mentioned here. So I think Sir would be very glad to answer them. So I'm just think, okay. Yes, sir. So just a little bit of insight, if you could give us in terms of any additional reading, because what happens is, through the entire entrance preparation, the phase of entrance preparation, how would you recommend in terms of alternative reading? This is quote unquote whatever extracurriculars is recommended during entrance preparation, because what happens is everybody gets saturated by reading. So we want to read something else, we want to watch something else, directly from a student to a teacher. So what would you recommend, sir? If general, because people are interested to know, how does Sir keep himself motivated throughout and actually teach the same thing for so many years? So if we were to read the same pulse and if we read the same material, what would be a little bit of alternative recommended reading or watching or anything, just to keep yourself motivated? Yes.
See, what happens is, to stay motivated is extremely important, to keep studying throughout the year. And obviously, if you're doing one subject for a long time, you might get saturated very fast. So what we advise in CEDEES, what we ask everybody to do is have a mix and match of subjects. And definitely, if you're studying anything more than 4 hours a day, you have to try to do at least 2 subjects in a day. It's not mandatory, because I've seen that some students have a capacity to sit with one subject for like 2 to 3 days and still study so well that their speed does not come down. But most of us, especially boys, after studying for 4 hours, you get tired. But then you sit with the book again for the next 4 hours. Next 4 hours, what happens is that we tend to waste a lot of time. So it's always best if you can alternate your subjects. Like, if you're studying perio, then probably take up one tough basic subject probably after that. So in that way, you can study for 7 to 8 hours if you want to, without feeling really tired. Next, introduce apps into your preparation. It's become very important, because all the other MCQ books, purely Dental Pulse would not be sufficient for you to crack your entrance. But Dental Pulse definitely gives you a good foundation, but just the Dental Pulse knowledge is not going to take you higher, because to understand the subject is a lot more. So you got to, you got to really read through the lines sometimes between the textbook and and then that is how I think you got to take it forward. And regarding enjoying yourself, you have to take some time out. Uh, what we have generally seen students in CEDEES, for example, CEDEES downgrade, people they study like 12 hours a day, sometimes 13 hours a day when they study. And I think one of the best time pass they all have is gossiping, sit together in groups and chat and all that. But once in a while, of course, I always advise them to go ahead and watch some movies once in a while, do something very different, extremely different away from studies. It's very important to gain your energy back and then bounce back. Best thing is to do anything you would love to do. I've seen some of them go for long walks. It's amazing. Some of them would love to sit and watch movies. It's fine. Some students have a concept that if you watch movies, you're getting distracted, you cannot study. It's not like that. You're stimulating a different part of your brain, which is also equally important. You can watch movies and you can have parties, but don't do it on a consistent basis. It should be studies first, and then comes all the other things later. So if you can balance out in this way, basically, what the golden rule is, we have to enjoy what we are doing. If you're going to take it for a period of more than 6 months, we're going to study, you should enjoy your studies too. Every bit of knowledge what you're gaining, you should be happy about what you're learning. I think that's very important. And the sense of competition should be there. You cannot say that I don't want to be competitive, because ultimately it's a competitive based exam. So at every exam that is there, in whichever center you enjoy, let's try to be among the top, like among the top 500 or among the top 1,000, and somehow, that will keep motivating you forward. So spend your time wisely, not too much of free time, I'm sorry, but whenever you really want to freak out, do freak out. Some students come and tell me, sir, I went out for a wedding and 3 days and 4 days I couldn't study. Is it a big problem? No problem. No problem. 3 days, it's absolutely fine. Your mind is rested. Now get back and study. You have to try to make up for that. I think that is how I think it works. Don't worry. Keep growing. Keep nurturing your vision. Keep nurturing your vision.
To begin with, guys, I think we really need to aspire towards reaching the place we've always dreamt of, right? So, like Sir wonderfully explained, we need to build around the vision and then strategically approach this in various parts, and then continuously test yourself. Okay, like we say, at the end of it, it's a competitive exam, so you have to be fiercely competitive because you got to see yourself there, and for that, whatever it takes. But then again, don't stress yourself with all of work and study, and that's eventually going to crash you out, or make you burn you out. So balance throughout. Okay, and most of the students, what like Sir mentioned, we do see here in the Damgiri Center and Bangalore Center and every other place, they do have their own ways of working around the schedules and doing with these. All right, great. Okay, sir. So let's just quickly see if you have any questions. Otherwise, I'd like to ask some direct questions to Sir, and some a little bit of trivia. Yes, sir.
This, I think Rutali here, she was my old student who was given me a direct message. She's in Nair Dental College doing a PG in India.
Hello, sir.
Hi, Rutali. Hello, Rutali.
Hey,
How are you?
So good to see you.
So good to hear from you. So very nice. So exam going in the last few months
Hi,
now? May?
Yes, sir. May, June, July probably.
July probably.
Yes.
So wish you all the best. How did your
Thank
PG
you, sir, going great, having fun, doing perio from Nair. Yes, sir.
Wonderful. See you, I know. Rutali Kamath, how can I forget you?
Thank you, sir. Really great to see you.
Really nice. Hi to everybody who's in that. You're the same.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Wish you all the best.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Okay, so I think we have many more students who've been a part of the training what Sir provides, and have actually been in different colleges. So it's lovely to see all of you guys. And what you guys could do probably is you can motivate your juniors and then your subsequent batches. And one overarching question, Sir, I'd like to ask on behalf of the entire CEDEES family is what's the secret behind the voice notes which you send to most of the students, sir? because everybody lingers on to them. And I've got a plenty of messages here. I like, ask sir about the voice notes, because they have really actually transformed at various points of the preparation. Because so if you could just share some light on that, sir.
No, I see. Voice note, I think, is a way of me giving some energy for my students. And what I really feel is that, wherever you are, you may be in your room, you may be in the library, you may be traveling somewhere. And most of the times after you've six subjects, somewhere, especially from your teacher, and somebody with whom you have come to be associated for the last 3 to 4 months, and it was somebody who's speaking about it. And I have been in this field for so long, and if somebody who was, speaking like that, and I'm sure that it will touch your hearts and minds. And that's exactly what I love doing. I give my energy to my students. And yeah, and I think they do well after that. They just bounce back, and they really that's fantastic. Yeah. So for me, voice note is a very important time of the day when I really make a voice note, and I get the pulse of what my students probably need, and just give off my energy off, just share my energy off. That's exactly what I do in my voice note, and it keeps them going. So I think that's one.
Okay, so thank you so much, sir. I think a lot of your students are missing seeing you in class, as we can see here. So guys, please do show us your love in the chat box here. And sir is really happy to connect with all the students across the country today. There has been some connectivity issues. I'm really apologizing, because it's a Sunday evening and probably people are streaming movies on Prime and everywhere. So that's probably causing the lag for us. Nevertheless, so we'll quickly wrap this up, because like I said, the whole mindset for entrance preparation. So would you like to just put together everything and give us like a take-home message, sir?
Right. A take-home message, I think, firstly, for the students who are preparing for the interns, this is just end of Feb. So let's say tomorrow is the first day of March. So you have a good 9 months to go ahead of you. And, I can see in the chat box, and I think some personal message to Denzi, that some of you wondering, like, should I finish my internship and start my preparation? I would say no. Start it as soon as possible, and then make that vision big, and start growing and start moving towards that vision. I think that's very important. Don't ever let anyone belittle you. Don't ever let anybody tell you that, oh, do you think you're capable, or do you think you can do it? I don't think you can do it, and things like that. If you have a deep down key, I want to get there. It's not important how we have come. How we have traveled is not important. But if you have that vision key, how much I need to do that. If you have that vision there, then I think if you use the time properly and in a little bit of an organized way, I'm sure that you can reach where you want to reach. And I've seen not one or two, I've seen hundreds of students do that. And I've seen students who even fail during their BDS get into AIMS, or get into government colleges, get the top ranks, and get to do what they really want to do. Some of them want to be an oral surgeon, and they become an oral surgeon in one of the best colleges. And it is not easy, but if you really give it your best, and if you just long for it, work hard in a very consistent way, I'm sure that you'll get where you want. So wishing you all the best. May God bless, and be happy always. I think that's very, very
all right. Fantastic.
Be positive. Yeah.
So guys, quickly, I think let's all of us switch on videos and say like a good bye-bye to sir. Quickly, everybody, if you could just, wherever you are in different parts of the country, I'm gonna see in little windows here in front of my screen. You can just put on, it doesn't matter if you have the pulse behind or you have your vision written behind and on your study desk and everything. So I would be really happy to see all his students, present, former students, and really young budding MBS aspirants. So, in the words of Dr. Raison Thomas, sir, as always, he says, it always seems impossible until it's done. And that is the line which actually epitomizes. And when we meet such amazing students with so much of potential, when they've cracked examinations, how does it feel? They're real students with real energies, just like you, me, and everybody else, right? So you got to believe in yourself, and of course, follow a strategic way how you address this. Okay, so all of you all, quickly, if you could put on your videos, and everybody, just wave your hands here together. Let's collect some synchronized energy together, and spread this energy to all of you all who's been watching this and has actually joined in here. Okay. And there are many specific questions, guys, which are been coming to us. We'll be very happy to address that. If you could write to us, you could check our website, which is CEDEES.in and bdsnext.com. Also, for most of the students attending this, I'd like to mention that we have an All India CEDEES scholarship examination, which is going to happen right next Sunday, which is going to be held for exclusively second year, third year, and final BDS students, which is going to cover the syllabus, which was previously what they have studied for. And we also have an examination for the first MDS students. Sir always believes in actually, testing your ear knowledge and your theoretical knowledge and applying it, right? Only when you subject yourself to something of that sort, you're able to, understand where you stand and where you are actually competent. So details on our scholarship examination are there on our website. Please do check it out, and then please do let us know. All right. So everybody, I think all of you, if you're ready, you could just wave out to sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for doing this. And
thank you so
really
much.
Fantastic.
Thank you so much.
So many people.
Thank you so much, and thank all the students. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you so much, all of you. Thank you so much. It's wonderful.
Okay, sir. All right. Thank you so much. See you guys very soon. You want more intimations from us, please do visit our Facebook page and YouTube page, and we'll be putting this across as well. And thank you so much, Dr. Raison, sir, for believing in all of your students and for actually making out who you are today as a result of such amazing energy. So all of you all, see you very soon. I think that would bring us to the end of today's session. It's about 10 minutes to 7. Have a fantastic Sunday, guys. Tomorrow is the 1st of March, and beat the heat, but again, stay motivated. All the specific queries regarding to the combined INICET exams, the pattern of examinations, you can always reach out. You can write to us. You can check us out on the app, the BDS Next app, and so much details on that. All right. Yes, Raison, sir. Any closing remarks finally? All right.
Thank you, Renzi, and thank you, PhD 101. And it was wonderful to share a platform with all our dear students who are getting ready for the exams and those who are already doing their PG. I think, thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Bye bye. See you.